Hello, it is a cousin, and I am back for the ultimate season recap of beer tasting.
I get a kick out of brew.
Yeah, that's right. We are doing the season recap of this massive beer tasting series provided to us by none other than Mr. J. Ashley Spencer. So, for the final time,
Jed Ashley Spencer.
and yeah, what a series it's been. I mean, he only delivered these about a month ago, if that. And in total, there are 26 different beers in this massive series, which I've split into 5 parts. And I've actually put them all up there without checking if I've put them in the right order. But from memory, I'm pretty sure that is the order we did them. So this extends all the way from the Fosters over there, all the way down to the Brewdog Mackies, which I did yesterday. As of today, I have uploaded the Corona Ligera. So after recording this, I still have the last 5, which is the last batch to do. So today I have been up in London Bridge. I went to meet an old friend. We had a Nando's and then went to, we walked to Blackfriars and we go to this pub there where I had 2 Budvars. Hello, it's the cousin, and I've got my Budvar, my second one at London Bridge, although this is more like Blackfriars. So it's late. I've got home quite late. I'm tired. I've got to be up early in the morning, so I'm not going to make this video any longer than it needs to be. And since I've only uploaded down to here, and I've edited the video for the soul, but rather than write down all their ratings and go through them, because there's so many of them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring each one batch by batch over here. So you're going to see this windowsill just empty out basically. So yeah, let's get into that, starting with the first batch of beers. So this is the first batch we did. We started off with the Fosters, and this was supposed to be kind of the, I don't know, the more, not boring, but yeah, I want to say the more boring one, because I wanted it to get progressively more interesting, saving the more wacky ones for last. So this is the more basic ones. I started off with a Foster's, as me and Joe call that the gateway beer. It is, for us, was the first beer, or one of the first beers I can remember drinking. Then I went on to the Carlin, which was very boring. That's all I can say. Coors Light, very lightweight, but I've had a lot of good memories with this one, so this was nostalgic for me. Crown Lager over here by Sainsbury's was just a, just a beer, like a really forgettable beer. And then we ended with the Holston, which was a good one to end on. I actually really enjoyed this one. Turned out to be a favourite among both Halstead and Griffo's dads, so shout out to them. And I'd say this was probably the highlight of the series. I really enjoyed this, and this is one that I wanted to do before I did this series, if that makes any sense. So this was the first series. I'd say overall it was an okay series. I think most of these scored between a 3 and a 4. I think these 2 would have been more in the 3 category, whereas the others would have been in the 4. So it was a okay to good batch we did here. And of all of these, well, of these 5, I think the one that I'd be eager to try again is the Holston Pils. That is the highlight of this batch. So on to the second one. Okay, so this second batch was the only batch to have 6 beers instead of 5. There were 26 beers in total, so I did 5, 6, 5, 5, 5, and straight away this part of it is very red. A lot of Spanish beers here, and even more throughout the rest of the series. I did have some technical issues while uploading these 2, the Cruz Campo and the Estrella, with the ratings, but overall this was a good series. Of the Spanish beers, the 3 Spanish ones here in the red cans, Estrella and Cruz Campo I had before, and the Mahu was one I was really looking forward to. But the best one, in my opinion, was the Estrella by far. I really enjoyed that beer. Cruz Campo was pretty good, and the Mahu was the weaker of the three. The Corona Extra Mexican beer in a smaller can, this got a really high rating. I can't remember exactly what, but I really did enjoy that. The Budvar, I had two of them today. Yeah, that's a good solid beer. But the best one in this little batch, and one of the best ones overall in this whole series, has to be the Carlsberg Special Brew. This one was the strongest as well, 7.5. And yeah, it's just a strong lager with a hint of cognac. Really interesting, really nice. I would really recommend this one. So of this, I mean, this one was even more so a good to really good series. I'd say pretty much all of them were really good. I'd say the weaker one of the series was the Mahu, and the Cruz Campo is a really good beer, but that was probably my just above the Mahu. These four being the better ones, and the top three being the Estrella, Corona Extra, and of course the Carlsberg Special Brew. So really good series, this one. The third batch probably looks like the most random one. Looking at them now, it is just a random selection of beers from all over Europe. We've got two Spanish ones on either end here, a Dutch one, an Italian one, and an English one. We started with the Estrella Galicia, which has no relation to the other Estrella. But yeah, this one wasn't as good. Then we did the Grausch, Dutch beer. I've heard of this one before. I think I've had it before. Yeah. The third and my favourite one of this batch was the Angelo Peretti, which Joe was hyped up, but then he did say, oh yeah, that's an alright beer. So, but he said that after I'd recorded it. The Korev is one that I'd seen when me and Joe went to Tesco's, where I believe he got most of these from, either Tesco's or Sainsbury's. That one I really wanted to try, and it was good, but it wasn't the best one of this series. I'd give that one to the Angelo Peretti, but it was a good solid beer. And then we had the bottled Mahu, which is, I think, a lot better than the canned one, which is often the case with a lot of beers. So yeah, this is a fairly decent series, somewhere in the middle here. I think the standout ones are probably these three, and my favourite would be the Angelo Peretti with the Korev second. So that is the third series. Now let's move on to the fourth. So the fourth series is where things started to get really weird. The first series was the more basic beers. The second one was just a Spanish fest. The third one was just random beers from all over Europe. And this is just a weird conceptual series. Some of the more wackier ones that we did. So we started off with the Brooklyn Lager, where I butchered the New York Italian Brooklyn accent. But I've had a Brooklyn Lager before, and yeah, I thought that was a pretty decent one. Then we did these two lemon ones. First, the Dam Lemon, which is the same brewery as Estrella Damm, and the Foster's Shandy. Now, while this did just taste like a soft drink, this I didn't really like. And when I saw Joe showing me all the beers, I'm going to play a clip of that now, actually. But yeah, when you were showing me all those beers, this is one of the ones that stood out to me the most, that I really wanted to try. And then I also remember this one, the Menabrea. I did not like that. That tasted like Marmite, liquid Marmite. And then I thought we'll end this with the Corona Ligera because all the other ones, bar the last one, were in bottles, and I thought this one looks the lightest. Now, while the Corona Extra was a really high score, I think that was like 4.5 or something, this wasn't, because it just tasted too weak. And to be honest, I didn't really enjoy it. So I'd say this was the weirdest series and probably had some of the more lower scoring ones. The only one here that I'd recommend is the Brooklyn Pilsner. And while that was a decent beer, it didn't stand out as much as some of the other ones we did in this massive series. But it's the best one among these ones, as I don't think I'd recommend any of these. Yeah, that's a weird concept. That's an even weirder concept. And yeah. So that has been the 4th series. Let's get on to the 5th and final series. So this is the 5th and final series. I did this one yesterday, and I'm going to be uploading that one tomorrow. But for you guys, obviously they've all been uploaded. This was a pretty weird one, actually. I started off with the Sol, which essentially is or should have been very similar to the Corona Ligera, seeing that they're both, well, that one's 3.4, this is 3.2. They're both light Mexican beers, but this one was so much better. I actually really enjoyed that. So that is a nice beer. Then we did these two. I know that one's French. I believe this one's French as well. Yeah, these two little French ones, which look like they're in little medicine bottles. And I was really intrigued by these, so I saved them for last. These 3 here in these smaller bottles, they looked unusual, but these were really weak as well, like 3.4%. I was very underwhelmed by them. They just didn't really have much going for them in taste. And then we did the Modelo, another Mexican one, and because of these two, it kind of lowered my expectations, but that was a really nice one. It had this fancy gold foil around it, and yeah, that was really nice. I really enjoyed this one. And then of course we finished on the Brewdog and Mackey's 2 scoops honeycomb ice cream stout, 7%. And Joe actually bluffed me on this one, so he actually didn't like it and was really overhyping it. And when I tried it to wind him up, I said, oh yeah, it wasn't that good. So he sent me a voice note that he had pre-recorded of him laughing his head off, going, ha ha ha, I told you it was shit. No, I fooled you, it was shit, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, actually, I was joking. Like, I really liked it. I mean, I love stout, I love honey beers. Mixing them together with ice cream, you could have not picked a more suitable drink for me. So really like that one. He's actually going to do it again now. So in this series, I'd say really good. That was good. These two may, but overall I think this was a pretty good series if you remove these two. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get all the beers, the really good standout beers, and just put them on here together. So yeah. So these 6 beers here are probably the standouts from not each individual series, but just the best 6 I could find. If I could fit one more on the table, I would have probably put the Sol on there. The best one being this one here, but we'll work our way up. So the Holsten Pils, I did that in the first series. Yeah, I really like that, and that is a beer I would have again. The Modelo, that was a really good one. That one shocked me. I think the 2 little bottle ones had set the bar so low that I was like, but it really shocked me, and that was really enjoyable. The Angelo Peretti is something that I think Joe really likes, and I can honestly see why. That was a really good, solid beer. We did a lot of Spanish ones, and the Estrella just stood out. I think it just has such a strong, good, bold taste. It is really good. It's the best of all the lagers we did in this series, and believe me, we did a lot. And then in the top 2, we have the 2 strongest ones, which are both on the plus side of 7%. So in second place, the strongest one, the 7.5 Special Brew Carlsberg with that little hint of cognac. Really interesting drink. It is really strong, but it is also really nice. It just mixes well. And the best one is no doubt the Brewdog Mackey's 2-scoop honeycomb ice cream stout. These are the best ones. I know if you look back at all the ratings, it might say otherwise. But from memory, yeah, these are the best ones. So this has been a really great series. Big shout out to J. Ashley Spencer for providing us with all these beers to try. I mean, it is a lot. 26 in total, and this is concluding that. So yeah, I'll probably release another Skyrim video tomorrow, and then I've got so many random videos that I've recorded while doing this. Yeah, most of them were recorded quite a way back, like while I was doing the first or second batches of these beers. And then can cutting is also another thing that's going to be coming out soon, and then probably another series of beer tasting. So there's a lot to come out. We've just done a lot. The channel is going strong. If you've enjoyed watching this, please like, subscribe, share, all that other bullshit. Check out my other videos. Check out J. Ashley Spencer. Check out his videos, and I shall see you in the next one. Cheers. And what I'm going to now do is just get a picture of all these beers in the series they were in, or the batches, and then just put them there with their ratings so you can see what I rated them. So, cheers. We've just been to Asda, and I'm with none other than
J. Ashley Spencer.